Chike Okafor sat in his sleek black Mercedes, staring out at the city that had bowed to him. From oil conglomerates to real estate empires, his name was etched in Lagos history as one of the wealthiest men in the country. Yet, as he gazed at the traffic-clogged streets, he felt nothing. No pride, no joy, only an emptiness that all his riches could not fill. Tonight, he had left an extravagant party early, escaping the shallow conversations and pretentious laughter of the elite. He just needed air, something real, something his money could not buy. As his driver maneuvered through the gridlock, his eyes drifted toward the street vendors weaving between the cars. Among them, a young beautiful woman stood out. She moved swiftly, expertly balancing a tray of sachet water on her head, her worn-out clothes a stark contrast to the city lights. Unlike the others, there was no desperation in her eyes, only determination. Something about her struck him, a whisper of a past he had long buried. Chike had no idea that this fleeting moment would alter his world forever. Ama wiped the sweat from her brow as she navigated through the vehicles, offering sachet water to impatient drivers. The city's heat pressed against her like an unforgiving weight, but she had no choice, she had to sell. Mama Ife would not tolerate excuses. If she failed to meet her quota, the beatings would be worse tonight. Yet as much as she loathed this life, she refused to break. She had dreams, ones that stretched far beyond the bridge where she slept each night. As she approached a luxurious black car, she hesitated. The man inside was watching her, his gaze unreadable. Used to dismissive glances and pitying stares, this was different. His eyes held something deeper, curiosity, perhaps even recognition. Brushing the thought aside, she held up a sachet. "Good evening, sir. How was work today? I'm sure you would need water, sir. It's very cold." He didn't respond immediately, but Ama didn't have time for hesitation. If he wasn't buying, she needed to move. But just as she turned to leave, his deep voice stopped her. "What's your name?" Ama had learned long ago that men with expensive cars asking for names never led to anything good. Yet something about him made her pause. "Ama," she said simply, her voice steady. The man nodded as if committing it to memory. Then to her surprise he bought not one but the entire tray. "Keep the change," he said, but Ama shook her head. "I don't take money I haven't worked for." Chike raised an eyebrow, intrigued. For the first time in years he felt something stir inside him, interest. Chike watched as Ama carefully counted the money and handed him back the excess. He had never met anyone who would turn down free money, let alone someone living in such conditions. Her defiance intrigued him, sparking a curiosity he couldn't shake. "You're different," he muttered, taking the change from her hesitant hands. Ama shrugged. "I just believe in earning what I have." Her voice was firm but polite. She had learned that dignity was the only thing she could truly call her own. Even if life had beaten her down, she refused to let it take her integrity. For the first time in years, Chike wanted to prolong a conversation. "Do you always sell here?" Ama hesitated. "Most days. If you're looking for water, you'll find me." She adjusted the empty tray on her head and took a step back. "Thank you for your patronage, sir. Have a good night." With that, she disappeared into the crowd. Chike sat back watching her go. For reasons he couldn't yet explain, he knew this wouldn't be the last time they met. Something about Ama's unwavering spirit fascinated him, and for the first time in years he found himself anticipating the next encounter. Ama returned under the bridge late that night, the money she had earned clutched tightly in her hand. Mama Ife was waiting, her sharp eyes scanning Ama's earnings with practiced greed. "Where is the rest?" she demanded, her voice cutting through the night air like a blade. Ama kept her expression neutral. "That's all I made today." Mama Ife's lips curled into a sneer. "You expect me to believe that? A pretty girl like you should be making double." She grabbed Ama's wrist, her grip bruising. "Are you hiding money from me?" Ama swallowed her fear. "I would never." She knew better than to challenge Mama Ife directly, but she also refused to cower. Mama Ife's eyes darkened. "You better not be lying to me, girl, or you'll regret it." With that, she snatched the money and turned away, leaving Ama to nurse her throbbing wrist. When Ama lost her parents in a tragic accident, she had no one to turn to. Her uncles, her father's own siblings, seized everything he owned, leaving her with nothing. With no financial support, she was forced to drop out of university after her first year. She longed to learn a trade, but every trainer demanded a fee she couldn't afford. Desperate to survive, she wandered the streets, searching for any opportunity to make a living. One fateful day she met Mama Ife, a sharp-tongued woman who sold drinks under the bridge. When Ama asked for work, Mama Ife agreed to let her sell sachet water in exchange for a small wage. However, she refused to offer her a place to stay, as she already shared a cramped one-room apartment with her 6 children. Left with no other option, Ama began sleeping under the bridge at night, only emerging during the day to sell sachet water for Mama Ife. Despite her hard work, Mama Ife treated her with little kindness. At times, she withheld Ama's wages and showed her nothing but contempt. Yet, Ama continued working because she had no other options. No one else would hire her and she needed to survive. Mama Ife, knowing how valuable Ama was to her business, wouldn't even let her leave. But Ama made a promise to herself. The moment she found another job, she would walk away. Until then, she endured the hardship. And so, the years passed, and by the time she turned 25, she was still stuck in the same cycle, waiting for a chance to break free. As she sat on the cold pavement, Ama whispered to herself, "One day I will leave this place." She didn't know how, but she knew she had to escape before Mama Ife took everything from her, including her soul. The next evening, Chike found himself driving through the same route. It wasn't coincidence, he wanted to see her. He scanned the street vendors, his eyes searching for that familiar face. Then he spotted her, expertly balancing a tray of sachet water as she moved between cars. Ama noticed him too, her steps faltering for just a second before she continued her routine. Chike rolled down his window. "Ama," he called. She hesitated before approaching. "Yes, sir?" "Water?" she asked. He studied her face, noting the faint bruising on her wrist. Anger flared within him, though he didn't know why. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice softer than before. Ama frowned. "Why do you care?" She wasn't used to kindness, especially from strangers. Chike sighed. "I don't know. Maybe because I see something in you. Something different." He handed her a crisp note. "Take this. It's not charity. Think of it as an investment." Ama stared at the money before shaking her head. "I told you, I don't take money I haven't worked for." Chike smiled. "Then work for me. Meet me tomorrow. I have a job for you." He brought out a piece of paper, wrote his office address on it and handed it over to her. Ama hesitated. Could she trust him? But something in his eyes told her this wasn't just another man looking to take advantage. Maybe, just maybe, this was her way out. "All right," she finally said. "Tomorrow." Ama lay awake that night, staring at the stars above the bridge. A job? From a stranger? Sounded too good to be true. But Chike's eyes had held something different. Not pity, not desire, but respect. Could she risk trusting him? The thought of Mama Ife's wrath if she discovered this arrangement sent shivers down her spine. But wasn't this what she had been waiting for? A way out. By morning, her decision was made. She would meet Chike. But she wouldn't go empty-handed. If she was going to work for him, she had to prove her worth. Ama used her little savings to trace the office address. Chike sat in his office, staring at the city skyline. He wasn't sure if Ama would come or why he had offered her a job, he barely knew her. But something about her spirit intrigued him. When the receptionist announced her arrival, he felt an odd sense of anticipation. Ama stepped in, her worn clothes stark against the polished marble floors. She met his gaze without hesitation. "I'm here to work, sir." Chike smiled. "Let's see what you can do." He handed her a stack of invoices. "Sort these. Accuracy is more important than speed." Ama's heart pounded. She had never worked in an office before, but she refused to fail. Hours later, she placed the neatly organized stack in front of him. Chike reviewed it, impressed. "You're hired." Ama exhaled in relief. She had taken a risk, and for the first time in her life, it had paid off. Ama's new job came with challenges. She had to navigate a world completely different from the streets. She struggled at first, but Chike was patient, guiding her when needed. She would go out in the morning with a tray of sachet water, as if going to sell. Chike would stop by at a particular place they had planned to pick her. He would order her to give the water to beggars while he gives her the money. The first day Chike picked her up, Ama felt a pang of excitement, but she held it, not wanting to be expressive. She had never been inside a car this luxurious before. The leather seats, the cool air conditioning, it felt like another world. Meanwhile, Mama Ife grew suspicious of Ama's absences. "You think you can escape me, girl?" she hissed one evening. "You belong to the streets, and you'll never be more than a water seller." Ama clenched her fists. "Watch me." Her journey had just begun, but she refused to let anyone hold her back. Not Mama Ife. Not society. She would prove them all wrong. Chike found himself looking forward to seeing Ama each day. Her resilience, her hunger for knowledge, it reminded him of the fire he once had before wealth dulled his passion. One day he caught her staring out at the city skyline from his office window. "What do you see?" he asked. "A world I want to be part of," she whispered. "Not as a beggar but as someone who belongs." Chike felt something shift inside him. Ama wasn't just another employee, she was a force of nature. And he was helplessly drawn to her. Ama's happiness was short-lived. One evening she returned to find her few belongings scattered, her shelter destroyed. Mama Ife's message was clear. She wasn't allowed to dream. Homeless and desperate, she had nowhere to go. As she stood in the rain, broken but not defeated, a sleek black car pulled up. Chike stepped out, concern etched on his face. "Come with me," he said. Ama hesitated, but she had no choice. She nodded. As the car drove away, she realized she was stepping into an unknown future. But for the first time, she wasn't alone. Ama sat in silence as Chike's car sped through the rain-soaked streets of Lagos. Chike glanced at her. "You'll stay at one of my apartments for now. It's safe." Ama stiffened. "I don't need charity." He smiled. "Then think of it as a loan. Pay me back when you can." Relief flooded her. She could accept help if it meant earning her place. When they arrived, Ama marveled at the small but elegant apartment. It was more than she ever dreamed of. "You mean to tell me you've been living under that bridge?" Chike asked coldly. He had traced her to the bridge that night after he dropped her at the usual place they met. Curious to know where she lived. "Yes," Ama replied. She narrated her story, pouring out her heart in tears, holding nothing back. Chike gave her a long warm hug, assuring her it's all over. He made sure she bathed, ate, and had gone to bed before he left. He ordered the security to look out for her. For the first time in years, Ama slept in a real bed. Back under the bridge, Mama Ife seethed. Ama had defied her, and that could not go unpunished. She sent her boys to find out where Ama had gone. "If she thinks she can escape me, she's wrong," she spat. Ama, unaware of the looming danger, focused on her work. She was improving, surprising even herself. But the feeling of being watched never left her. One evening as she left the office, rough hands grabbed her from behind. "Mama Ife wants you back," a voice snarled. Ama struggled, her heart pounding. Just as she thought she was doomed, a car screeched to a halt and Chike's voice boomed, "Let her go." Chike stepped out, fury in his eyes. The men hesitated but released Ama at the sight of him. "Tell Mama Ife she will regret this," he warned. The thugs fled and Ama collapsed against the car, shaking. "Are you all right?" Chike asked gently. Ama nodded. "I won't let her control me anymore." Chike admired her strength. "You're not alone anymore, Ama." News spread fast. Chike Okafor was spending time with a street girl. His family was furious. "She's a nobody," his uncle fumed. Chike didn't care. But Ama did. "I don't want to ruin your reputation," she told him. "You're not ruining anything," Chike assured her. "Let them talk." Ama wasn't convinced, but she wasn't ready to walk away either. She had come too far. Chike took Ama to a charity gala, wanting to show her a different world. Dressed in a simple but elegant gown he had provided, she was breathtaking. But whispers followed them. "Is she a gold digger? What is she doing here?" Ama felt out of place, but Chike's presence grounded her. "Ignore them," he whispered. "Tonight you belong here." For the first time, Ama allowed herself to dream that maybe, just maybe, she did. As the gala continued, Chike introduced Ama to key figures in his world. Some were polite, others skeptical. But one person made her blood run cold, Obinna, Chike's business rival. His sharp eyes studied her before he smirked. "Interesting choice, Chike. A street girl? What a project." Ama clenched her fists, but Chike squeezed her hand. "She's more than you'll ever understand, Obinna." Obinna chuckled, clearly enjoying the tension. "We'll see about that." To Ama's shock, Chike led her onto the dance floor. "I don't know how to dance," she whispered. "Just follow my lead," he murmured. As they moved, she found herself lost in his warmth. For a moment, the whispers and stares faded. But across the room, Chike's mother watched with disapproval. "This cannot continue," she muttered. The next morning, Ama arrived at work to find her desk occupied. "You don't belong here," a senior employee sneered. Files were missing, her chair was gone. Someone wanted her out. Instead of breaking, she worked twice as hard. Chike noticed. "Who did this?" he demanded. Ama shook her head. "I can handle it." She wasn't going to let anyone push her back to the streets. Mama Ife, still enraged and wanting Ama back at all cost, sought out Obinna with the help of her thugs. "You want to ruin that girl? I have a way." Obinna's lips curled. "I'm listening." Obina, driven by his business rivalry with Chike, envied his success. Determined to outshine him, he seized every chance to bring him down. To Obina, this moment felt like the perfect opportunity. They shook hands, sealing an alliance that could destroy Ama's newfound life. One evening, Chike took Ama to a quiet garden. "You've changed my world, Ama. I don't care where you came from, I care about who you are." Ama's heart raced. "I feel the same, but our worlds are different." "Then we'll create our own world," he whispered, brushing a stray curl from her face. For the first time, Ama allowed herself to believe in love. But danger was lurking just around the corner. Obina and Mama Ife wasted no time. They spread rumors that Ama was a fraud, a gold digger scheming to trap Chike. "She's only after his wealth," tabloids screamed. Chike's board members grew uneasy. "This relationship is becoming a liability," one warned. Chike dismissed them, but the seeds of doubt had been planted. Ama, meanwhile, faced judgment at work. Whispers followed her, cruel notes appeared on her desk. She held her head high, but inside she wondered, was she truly out of place? Chike's mother, Lady Okafor, finally took action. She invited Ama to tea, but the moment Ama arrived, she felt the chill in the air. "Do you love my son?" Lady Okafor asked, her voice sharp. "Yes," Ama answered truthfully. "Then leave him." Ama's breath hitched. "I won't." Lady Okafor's lips curled. "Then prepare for war." Ama returned to the office, exhausted. But the worst was yet to come. Chike's company was suddenly under investigation. A false tip-off claimed financial misconduct, and all fingers pointed to Ama. "You leaked company secrets," a furious board member accused. Chike stepped in. "That's ridiculous." But the damage was done. Ama's heart sank. Someone was framing her. Mama sent a message to Ama one day. "Come back to me or I'll make your life a living hell." Ama glared. "You already tried. I'm still standing." Ama knew she had to fight harder. She wouldn't let them break her. Despite the chaos, Chike and Ama found solace in each other. "We'll fight this together," he vowed. Ama nodded, gripping his hand. Together. But as the storm grew stronger, one question remained: could love truly conquer all? As the scandal around Chike's company grew, an old acquaintance from Ama's past surfaced. A woman named Auntie Beezy who had once helped during her struggling days. "You don't belong in this world, Ama. Walk away before it swallows you whole." "Do you enjoy the company's staff framing you up all the time?" Ama's heart clenched. Was she truly out of place? Meanwhile, Chike hired private investigators to dig into the source of the false accusations. The deeper they dug, the more troubling secrets they uncovered. Obina's plot ran deeper than Chike expected. An insider, someone close to Chike, was feeding information to Obina. "Find out who it is," Chike ordered. "No matter what it takes." At the same time, Ama found herself being followed. The fear she thought she had left behind returned in full force. One night, Obina approached Ama directly. "Leave Chike and I'll make all your problems disappear." Ama glared. "I'd rather struggle with him than thrive under you." Obina smirked. "Suit yourself. Just know, if you stay, things will only get worse." Ama refused to be intimidated. But she had no idea how dark things were about to get. The next morning, Chike woke up to shocking news: Ama had vanished. Panic surged through him. "Find her," he barked at his security team. Meanwhile, Ama found herself locked in a dingy room, face to face with none other than Mama Ife. "You thought you could escape me? Foolish girl." Ama's pulse pounded. She had to find a way out before it was too late. Meanwhile, back at the office, Obina sent someone to secretly plant a bomb in Chike's office. Luckily for them, a staff noticed it on time and they were all able to escape before it exploded, destroying a part of the building. With every ounce of strength she had, Ama fought back. She tricked one of Mama Ife's men into unlocking the door, then bolted into the night. Chike's men found her hours later, exhausted and shaken. "You're safe now," Chike murmured, holding her close. But Ama knew one thing: this wasn't over. Mama Ife and Obina wouldn't stop until she was out of the picture for good. Ama refused to live in fear. With Chike's support, they took legal action against Mama Ife, reporting her for kidnap. The police launched an investigation, but Mama Ife vanished before they could arrest her. Meanwhile, Chike's investigators discovered the mole in his company. It was one of his most trusted board members working for Obina. Furious, Chike called an emergency meeting. "You've betrayed me for the last time," he said coldly. The man was removed immediately, but the damage had been done. Despite the chaos, Ama focused on rebuilding her life. She eventually got enrolled in a private university with the help of Chike to study business management, determined to make something of herself beyond Chike's influence. "I want to be strong on my own," she told him. Chike admired her even more. "Then let's build something together. Whatever you want to do, just let me know. I'll always be here to support you," he assured her. And for the first time, Ama believed she could have a future beyond her past. She began to support vulnerable girls, helping them escape poverty and pursue their dreams. She started by selecting a few girls from the slum where she once lived and started mentoring them. Just when things seemed to settle, Mama Ife struck back. She kidnapped one of the young girls Ama had been helping and sent a chilling message: "Come back or the girl pays the price." Ama didn't hesitate. She went to the meeting spot alone, determined to end things once and for all. Ama found herself face to face with Mama Ife under the bridge. "You think you can betray me and walk away?" Mama Ife sneered. "I'm not afraid of you anymore," Ama shot back. "Let the girl go." Mama Ife laughed. "You're still the scared little girl I raised." But this time, Ama wasn't alone. Police swarmed the place. Chike had tracked her phone. Mama Ife was finally arrested. With Mama Ife behind bars and Obina's influence waning, Ama felt free for the first time. She poured herself into her studies and focused more on her project to help street children. Chike stood by her side. "You amaze me every day," he told her. For the first time in a long while, Ama allowed herself to believe in happiness. But they both knew their journey wasn't over yet. With Mama Ife's arrest making headlines, Ama became a symbol of hope for many street children. Donations poured in for her new project, and she was invited to speak at community events. But not everyone was pleased. Obina, humiliated by Mama Ife's downfall, plotted his next move. "If I can't bring him down, I'll take everything he loves. I hate his existence," he muttered fiercely. Ama's work attracted the attention of a prestigious non-profit organization. "We want you to be the face of our campaign to end child labor," their director said. It was a dream come true, but it came with a price. "This means public scrutiny, Ama," Chike warned. Obina won't stop. Ama met his gaze, determination in her eyes. "I'm not hiding anymore." Chike's company faced another attack. This time, Obina tried to force a hostile takeover. Chike's board was divided. "Marrying a former street girl has made you weak," one member accused. Chike slammed his fist on the table. "Ama is stronger than any of you. And this company will not fall." Ama, watching from the sidelines, knew she had to prove herself, both to herself and to the world. Ama and Chike found themselves at the center of a media frenzy. Reporters dug into Ama's past, twisting her story. "Cinderella or con artist?" one headline read. Chike stood beside her. "Let them talk. The truth will win." But the pressure took its toll, and Ama began to wonder, was love enough to survive this storm? Just when things seemed to settle, a shocking revelation shattered Ama's world. A forged document surfaced, claiming she had been involved in financial fraud. The evidence pointed to someone close to her. "Who did this?" Ama whispered, her heart breaking. And then the unthinkable, Auntie Beezy, the woman who once helped her, stepped forward. "I'm sorry, Ama," she said. "But I had no choice." Ama's world crumbled. The battle wasn't over yet. The forged documents spread like wildfire. Investors pulled out of Chike's company, and Ama's reputation was dragged through the mud. Social media erupted with accusations. "She was playing the long game," one post read. "She never loved Chike, just his money." Ama tried to fight back, but every move she made seemed to make things worse. Auntie Beezy had disappeared, and Obina was silent, watching from the shadows. Chike was Ama's rock, but even he couldn't shield her from everything. At a charity gala, someone threw a glass of wine at her. "Gold digger," a woman hissed. Ama's hands shook. "Maybe I should go away for a while." Chike gripped her hands. "No. We face this together." But deep inside, Ama wondered if she was becoming a burden. Determined to clear Ama's name, Chike's investigators finally uncovered the truth. Auntie Beezy had been paid off by Obina to betray Ama. Chike confronted Obina. "Why?" Obina smirked. "Because you don't deserve to have everything." And because she needed to be reminded of where she came from. Chike's fists clenched. "You'll regret this." Ama had had enough. She held a press conference, standing alone at the podium. "I have nothing to hide," she said, voice steady. "I have never stolen, never lied, and I will fight to prove it." The press grilled her, but she held her own. The tide began to turn. Chike's legal team took action against Obina. Evidence surfaced of his corrupt dealings, and suddenly the scandal wasn't about Ama anymore. It was about Obina's crimes. Obina was arrested, and Auntie Beezy, guilt-ridden, came forward with a confession. "I was wrong," she said in tears. "Ama, please forgive me." Ama had a choice: hold on to the pain or let go and move forward. She chose forgiveness. But she also chose never to be a victim again. And for the first time in her life she was truly free. With Obina behind bars and her name cleared, Ama took control of her future. She expanded her foundation, creating a safe haven for homeless children. The press shifted their narrative, from scandal to admiration. Meanwhile, Chike worked tirelessly to restore his company's reputation. Investors slowly returned and his empire began to stabilize. "We did it together," he told Ama. Despite their struggles, Ama and Chike found solace in each other. They took time away from the chaos, traveling to a secluded resort in Zanzibar. Under the moonlight, Chike took Ama's hand. "Marry me, Ama." Tears welled in her eyes. "After everything?" "Because of everything," he whispered. "You're my home." She said yes. She and Chike planned a grand wedding, celebrating not just their love but their journey. On their wedding day, as Ama walked down the aisle, she knew she had won, not just against her past, but for the future she had fought so hard to claim. As they exchanged vows, Chike whispered, "No more battles. Just us." And with that, their new life began. Ama and Chike's wedding was the talk of Lagos. Dignitaries, celebrities, and close friends gathered to witness their union. But for Ama, the real victory was seeing the children from her foundation smiling as they watched her walk down the aisle. She had come so far from the girl selling sachet water under the bridge. During the reception, Chike took her hand. "This is just the beginning, my love." And she believed him. Months later, Ama discovered she was pregnant, and when she told Chike, he lifted her in joy. "Our family begins now." They welcomed their daughter, Ifeanyi, meaning love. 9 months later, holding her baby, Ama knew her story had come full circle. She was no longer the orphan under the bridge. She was a mother, a wife, a leader. Through all the trials, Ama and Chike's love had only grown stronger. They built a life together that was not just about wealth, but about purpose. People would tell their story for years. A billionaire who fell in love with a girl from the streets, a woman who defied fate to rewrite her destiny. But for Ama and Chike, their story was simply about love, resilience, and faith. Sitting on the balcony of their Lagos home, watching the sunset with their daughter in their arms, Ama looked at Chike. "We made it." He kissed her forehead. "And we always will." Their love story was not just about overcoming odds, it was about finding home in each other. And that was forever.